Hare Krishna, dear friends. Our today class number 10 is called Krishna is the goal of life. Let us see the following subtopics. We will see what does it mean Krishna consciousness. We will describe Krishna's personality and qualities, Krishna's abode and leelas. We will see the relationships between Krishna and devotees. And we will discuss the ways to achieve Krishna as he proposed in Bhagavad Gita and different scriptures, in other different scriptures. So, what does it mean Krishna consciousness? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, the Kapila teaching, we can see the following shloka. Yat tat sattva gunam svacham Shantam Bhagavatah Padam Yad Ahu Vasudeva Akhyam Chittam Tan Mahat Atmakam. The mode of goodness, which is the clear, sober status of understanding the personality of Godhead, and which is generally called Vasudeva consciousness, becomes manifested in the Mahat Tattva. So, when the universe is about to be created, actually when Vishnu has already glanced at the Pradhana, Pradhana is an inactive state of Mahat Tattva, and when he impregnated this Pradhana and Kalak Chakra with gunas became active, they started to move, and the first thing what appears within the universe is Vasudeva state. What does it mean Vasudeva state? It is that Shuddha Sattva. It is pure Sattva which is not covered by gunas. Prabhupada explains in the purport. Vasudeva stage is free from influence by material desires. And it is the status in which one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is another feature of the Mahat Tattva. The Vasudeva expansion is also called Krishna, and we call it Krishna consciousness, for it is free from all shades of material passion and ignorance. So once again, the gunas, material gunas, are there within the material universe. But first, the Vishuddha Sattva is there, the pure state of mind, pure state of consciousness, Krishna state. Why Krishna consciousness? Because it is Vasudeva consciousness. In many different shlokas, it is called Vasudeva consciousness, Vishuddha state of consciousness. So, in order to be situated in clear consciousness or Krishna, Vasudeva consciousness, one must worship Vasudeva. So, there are also, in this purport, Prabhupada mentions the whole Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. And in order to achieve the pure state and come back to Godhead, we have to worship Vasudeva. For this, in order to get released from the false ego, we have to worship Sankarshana, who is himself is a representative of false ego. Sankarshana is also worshipped through Lord Shiva, and those who are devotees of Shiva, if they really know what they worship for, they are worshipping to get rid of the false ego, of the false self-identification, and get a real knowledge. They may achieve Vasudeva very fast. And in order to increase our faculty of buddhi and pacify our mind, we worship Krishna as Aniruddha and Pradyumna. In some other shlokas it is also mentioned, it's the same Kapila teaching, 3rd canto Srimad Bhagavata. Let's see us here. Those who are intelligent and are of purified consciousness. It is Prashanta Shuddha Chetasa, you can see in the shloka. they are completely satisfied in Krishna consciousness. So they are situated in Krishna consciousness. And they are swadharman. They perform their duties, but they do not act for the sense gratification. They act for the sake of Krishna and for the sake to perform the karmas. As Krishna advised us in Bhagavad Gita, we have to perform the karmas, but we have not to be attached to the results. And this detachment is described in the following shloka, and it is also, this consciousness is called Parishuddha Chetasa, right? Let's see. Nivritti Dharma, so religious activities which has the supreme, those activities have the supreme aim to achieve detachment from the material existence, material desires, and dedicate everything to Krishna. So nirmama nirahankara, so without the sense of proprietorship and without the sense of I, without I and my sense. One worship Krishna by his duties, by his dharma, by his talents, by his activities, and this state is called Prashuddha Chetasa. And he is situated in this state, and he is worshipping Krishna by this state. So this we call Krishna consciousness, the pure state of mind. And also Shiva in the canto number 4, he says, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. He says that I am always engaged in Namasa Vidyate. I am worshipping that Krishna who is known as Vasudeva Shabditam. He is known, he is called as Vasudeva, and that consciousness is absolute pure. And Shiva, in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a chapter, Shiva Gita, and he tells us that he is meditating on Krishna within his mind and heart, and he is situated in that Vishuddha, pure state of consciousness. And that is also called Krishna consciousness. And it is the state what Krishna advises Arjuna to, in Bhagavad Gita he says Arjuna to become Guna Atita, to overcome the material gunas and become Guna Atita. So here we are, all with you here, striving to become Guna Atita, to purify our consciousness and be situated in Krishna consciousness. So this was the first subtopic. We described with you what is Krishna consciousness and why to achieve it. Why to achieve it? Because if we achieve it, we will be able to worship Krishna by our pure consciousness, by our bhakti, being situated in bhakti itself. So now I would like to describe the qualities of Krishna, Krishna's personality. In Bhagavad Gita, in every chapter, he will describe himself very, very nicely. In 7th, 9th, 10th, 11th chapter, he gives the qualities, how we can see him all around this material world. Let us see a few shlokas here. So, chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. He says, O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat and fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penance of all ascetics, and etc., etc. So he advises us that we can see him everywhere in material world, wherever we look, on whatever thing our glance will fall. we will see Krishna only. It is also stated in Vedas that energies of Krishna are of three types. There is his Antaranga Shakti, Tatastha Shakti, and Bahiranga Shakti. What does it mean? He has, first of all, spiritual energy, which is superior, para, and material energy, which is inferior, apara. Antaranga Shakti, his internal energy, consists of three energies, Sandhini, Samvit, and Hladini Shakti. They are his internal, superior, transcendental, spiritual, para qualities of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. His eternal bliss, knowledge, and beginningless, endlessness, eternity. And Tatastha Shakti, Antaranga means internal. Tatastha Shakti is marginal. What does it mean? All the jivas are considered to be Tatastha Shakti. Because jiva, when it enters into the material world, qualitatively, when he enters into the material world, jiva, it immediately becomes covered with ahankara, mind, buddhi, and 5 elements. So that is Bahiranga, external energy, material energy of Krishna. But jiva itself, qualitatively, is the same as Krishna. But jiva is of the spiritual para quality. He is his Antaranga Shakti. So of the quality same as a Krishna. But being situated in material universe, jiva becomes covered with material elements, with Bahiranga Shakti, and that's why jiva is called Tatastha Shakti. So here Krishna says us how we can see him everywhere, because all the material world was created by his Maya, by his Durga Devi, and we can see him and perceive him in every small part of this material world. Let us see in the 9th chapter what he speaks about him. 9th chapter is called the most confidential knowledge. He says here, it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, and the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and the eternal seed. I give heat, I send for the rain, etc., etc. So what we can learn from here? I put here 2 more shlokas from Ishopanishad and from Brahma Samhita, which describes Krishna's quality as Om Purnam and Ishvarah Paramah. So first of all, he says here directly that I'm the reason of all reasons in here, Ishvarah Paramah Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarvakarana Karanam. I'm the reason, the cause of all causes. So he is the supreme cause. He is responsible for the creation, to create this world, to sustain it, and annihilate it. So he has the Satchidananda Rupa. It is the Rupa what we have seen in this picture, this his Antaranga Shakti. Even when he enters into this material world, he still has this Satchidananda Rupa. And he is Ishvara, Paramah Krishna. In Brahma Samhita we find this shloka. Also in Srimad Bhagavatam we find shloka where it is said Krishna's tu Bhagavan Svayam. So he is the supreme Bhagavan. And because sometimes people think In different philosophical schools, it could be considered that if Ishvara expand himself into so many material forms, he might become less, or he might be limited or something like that. But here in Sri Isha Upanishad, we find this shloka Om Purnam Adah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. So the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because He is complete perfect, all emanations from Him, such as the phenomenal world, it is our material world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself, because He is the complete whole. Even so many complete units emanates from Him. He remains the complete balance. So, He is complete, He is supreme, He is aware of Satchidananda Rupa even when He enters into material world. Even so, everything emanates from Him. He is not entangled by anything. All material world is sustained by Him, but He is detached from everything, because everything is done by His Durga Devi, His material energy. Let us see next here in the chapter number 10, the opulence of the Absolute. Here we can find many famous shlokas, such as when he says, out of all Rudras I am Shiva, out of all priests I am Brihaspati, out of all generals I am Kartikeya, out of all the sages I am Narada, out of all horses I am Uchchaishvara, out of all elements I am Airavata, and etc., etc. Out of all Nagas he is Ananta, and etc. So what does it mean? It doesn't mean that he is the only Brihaspati and that's all. No. As a Paramatma, he is situated within all the jivas, and also material energy belongs to him. But by saying that out of all something he is the best, it means that he is the very Shakti of every one of us. He is the very essence of all existence, material and spiritual and marginal. He is the very Ishvara and the supreme sense in every one of us. Also here in the following chapter we can find chapter number 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. He says that I am the splendor of the sun, and I am the moon. He says that I am the moon and I am the sun and I am the light within all the universe. He enters in each planet and he holds all the planets on the orbits. He is the fire or digestions in the bodies of all living entities, and he is seated in everyone's heart, and from him comes remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. So again, what does it mean? He is everywhere. Whatever you can perceive, touch, hear, speculate, think, contemplate, it will be him there. In these all chapters, actually, it is also 11th chapter when he speaks about his universal form is also very beautiful. In each chapter, he speaks few shlokas about how we can perceive him in every aspect of life, in material aspect and mental aspect and meditation, everywhere. And he will be the best of the best. And also, we can see him in all aspects and in all our activities, and we have to learn to see him everywhere. So, making a conclusion of this subtopic, I would like to give the shloka that generally he says, Vadanti tat tattvavida tattvam yat Jananam Jnanam Advayam. Brahma iti Paramatma iti Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. So we can perceive him in three aspects. Brahma iti. Brahman as energy. Brahman as a supreme consciousness. Brahman as a impersonal light, as a Brahmajyoti, as a non-dual existence. Also, another his aspect is Paramatma. Paramatma is localized aspect. Paramatma is within each and every being. In Upanishads, it is stated that such comparison is giving that within every jiva there are two birds within the hearts of all jivas, and one bird is active and singing and jumping and eating the fruits, and another bird is observing. It is looking and doing nothing. So Paramatma is like that second bird. He is seated next to us, and it is us who perform different kind of activities, and especially who eats the fruits. And Krishna is a localized aspect of Paramatma, is within our hearts, but our problem is that we do not realize neither ourselves nor Paramatma. So, and also Bhagavan. Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. What does it mean? That the supreme realization, the ultimate realization of the personality of Godhead will be in his personal form, with his personal qualities, in his personal abode, with his associates, with his leelas, and surrounded by his friends, and we know in Goloka Vrindavana his relatives and gopis and all animals and everything will be there, but he is in his supreme personal form as a young wonderful boy, Gopa. So it is also stated that the realization of God will be revealed to us step by step. So many of us strive to realize this unity in diversity. We are striving to find that only one God. But sometimes we stopped on that impersonal realization. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Brahma Bhuyeya Kalpate, right? And in 18th chapter he says that he gives this ladder of the development of bhakti. And if you remember in the last class, we described this ladder. So this Brahma Bhuyeya Kalpate is a very high step of the spiritual realization. On this step, a yogi can realize a supreme unity of everything. He can see his mind is pacified, and he is not disturbed by any dualities of this material world. It is very high state of consciousness. Nevertheless, Krishna says, do not stop on that stage and start to perform this. You're doing bhakti, of course. We are doing some service. We do the sadhana. So when we achieve that stage, we do not stop. It is the stage of the pure consciousness. And in that pure consciousness, as it was said in the beginning, you remember, by being situated in pure Krishna consciousness, we worship in that pure consciousness by our dharma, which is situated in pure consciousness. So on that stage, we are situated in Vishuddha Sattva, and we worship Krishna by offering him Vishuddha activities, Vishuddha and very pure heart and mind. So by following this way, we achieve the realization of Paramatma. We can perceive Krishna within our hearts and minds, and it is called also in some other places we can see that it is mental vision. So we can see really Krishna everywhere as a Paramatma. So within each and every jiva we will perceive him. And still Krishna says, do not stop there. Because the ladder of bhakti goes further. It goes to the personal aspect of Bhagavan, when we can become his very close associates in the Goloka Vrindavana, in the spiritual abode. So, those are the stages, the steps, and the evolution of our spirituality, of our consciousness. So here we can see the translation of this shloka, that learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. And in the third canto it is explained by Kapila Muni. The Supreme Personality of Godhead alone is complete transcendental knowledge. According to the different processes of understanding, he appears differently, either as an impersonal Brahman, as a Paramatma, and as the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Purusha Avatar. So there are different perceptions, and we can start from wherever stage we are. Definitely we have to start to perform spiritual activities, chanting, serving, reading, studying, and try to see him everywhere. Try to concentrate on the spiritual name, on his names that are transcendental and spiritual. And of course read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, because everywhere he explains about himself and simply about different other people who were able to achieve him. So by listening Krishna Katha and chanting his holy names, we will be able to purify our consciousness to the Vishuddha state, and we will be able to worship him by this Vishuddha consciousness. Here in the following shlokas, in this here in square, I gave a few shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna describes his qualities. Few of them we have seen, so you can follow those shlokas and read. So, we discussed with you two subtopics. What is Krishna consciousness? We discussed with you personality and qualities of Krishna. And now we will see his abode and leelas. It is very vast and big topic, and I'm working on it, and on the topic of cosmology. I hope soon I will be able to upload the videos about cosmology, but let us briefly discuss few elements of the Krishna's abode. This picture, you can find both of them as a Goloka chart in internet. You just type Goloka chart and you will find those pictures. Also you can find these pictures in many different Hare Krishna temples, and they will be printed and hang on the walls. Here we will see with you this picture a bit more. Let us see here. So in this part, which is here down, we can see material universe, and up is a spiritual universe here. And spiritual universe consists of, here in the wheel of lotus, is a Goloka Vrindavana, is Krishna with his personal associate, with gopis and gopas. Yashoda Mata is there, and all his close friends and close Dasa and Dasi and gopis and etc. Next part is Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha planets, all a lot of many different planets here in the Vaikuntha region, and many devotees of Krishna live there. And finally here is Brahma Jyoti. So it is said that a spiritual abode does not require any light, any artificial light or any light from sun or moon, because Krishna's body shining and gives light to everything around. And only small spot in that spiritual Vyoma, which is a spiritual sky, is called Vyoma. And small black spot is there, it is material universe. So it is said that material universe, all the material universes, take 1/4 of the spiritual sky, and the spiritual sky take 3/4. So spiritual sky is said to be 3 times bigger than material universe. So here the Brahma Jyoti, that this illumination from this Krishna's body is called Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti is also full of jivas. Those are the yogis who are striving, who achieved the realization of Brahman. It is said in the 3rd canto, in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, those who achieved the realization of the non-dual Brahman, they are situated in Brahma Jyoti. The other yogis and devotees, they achieve Vaikunthas. And finally there are devotees and bhaktas who achieved the Krishna's personal abode, the Goloka Vrindavana. They are his personal associates, and they see Krishna every day, serve every day, and do not think about anything else but only Krishna's service. So this is a high stage of prema here. And here are the material universes. Material universes are innumerable. So when time comes to create the material universe, here we can see Vishnu. He lies on the ocean of Karana, on the ocean of cause, Karana ocean, and he throw his glance at the small spot in the Paravyoma, in the spiritual sky, where the Pradhana in the inactive state. When he glances on it, the Pradhana became activated, and as we learned, the Vishuddha Sattva, first of all, why it becomes activated? Because Kala Chakra is moving there within the time wheel. But the first thing which appears within the material shells is a Vishuddha Sattva, Vishuddha state of consciousness, or it is called Vasudeva Sattva, or Krishna consciousness. It is there within our universe, and we can achieve it by Bhakti Yoga. So let us see next what is going on when gunas and Kala Chakra become activated. Vishnu enters each universe. So within the shells of the material existence, there are innumerable universes. And Vishnu, when he is on the ocean Karana, he is called Mahavishnu or Karandakashaya Vishnu. After that, he enters each universe. Here we can see he enters each universe and he lies on the ocean of Garbhodaka. Garbhodaka ocean fills the half of each universe. And Vishnu, who lies on the waters of that Garbhodaka ocean, is called Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. From that Vishnu, lotus is born, and on the top of the lotus, Brahma is born. And when the jivas and all the words are already there, Brahma will just take it out from the stem of the lotus and spread around. And so it is also another type of creation. And later, when the jivas will be created, when the jivas will get their material bodies, Vishnu, as an aspect of Paramatma, or Kshiradakashaya Vishnu, will enter each and every being, even the smallest one. He will enter everyone as a Paramatma. So this is how the universe is created. Once again, when I will have these videos on the cosmology, Vedic cosmology, I will upload it and I will put link below this video. So now, what we're gonna do? These are the Krishna's abode. So once again, our task in our life is to get out from the material world, which is not eternal and which is full of miseries, and to go to the spiritual abode. And we can choose if we go to Brahma Jyoti and become one with God, losing our identity, or keeping our identity and enjoy Leelas with Krishna. Krishna himself would love us to come to his spiritual Goloka Vrindavana. He advises us to become his associate. He would love to increase his love and our love by personal association in Goloka Vrindavana in Vaikunthas. And that is what is suggested in Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam, by all the sages, that the personal association and personal serving to Krishna gives the most pleasure, the biggest pleasure to everyone, to Krishna, to us. Next, what I would like to describe here, the avatars. So our topic is Krishna's abode, Leelas, avatars. Of course, we know about Dashavatars. There are 10 main avatars. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So what does it mean? In this Bhagavad Gita shloka, he says that he descends to the earth for 3 reasons. Paritranaya sadhunam, to give joy and to save his devotees. Vinashaya chadushkritam, destroy the demons. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, when the dharma become abused, he comes down to save it. And of course we know that when he came in his personal Krishna form, in 5,000 years in Vrindavana, he came as his Swayam Rupa. So that's why we worship Krishna and as a supreme Lord, and we do not consider Krishna as a avatar of Vishnu, but rather we consider that Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna. They are the same Vishnu Tattva, but Krishna is the original Swayam Rupa, and when he descends in this earth, in Vrindavana, in the end of the Dvapara Yuga, all the incarnations, all the tattvas descend with him. And in Srimad Bhagavatam we can find here the shloka once again, Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam, that there are many different energies of Krishna, many different avatars. We can find a lot of description of different avatars, including these 10 main avatars. But we know that Krishna is the original form. And okay, these 10 avatars, let's mention them. Matsya Avatara, when he enters this universe in the fish form. By the way, this Matsya Kurma, all these avatars are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Matsya Kurma in the 5th canto, Narasimha in the 7th canto, Krishna, Rama also in the 5th canto, Krishna in the 10th canto, etc., etc. All of them, and plus some other avatars you can find in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Kurma Avatara, he entered as a turtle, in the form of turtle. Varaha Avatara, when he fighted Hiranyaksha, he entered as a boar and saved an earth. Narasimhadev, very popular. Vamanadev, when he in 3 steps covered all universe, and his devotee Bali Maharaja, who is the ruler of one of the planet in Bilaswarga. Parashurama, Ramachandra, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, who came 2,500 years ago, and Kalki Avatara, the final Avatara, who will come at the end of Kali Yuga and destroy the universe. And again Satya Yuga will start. So he says also in Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. He comes whenever the dharma is abused. He comes to save us every time. Even so, we do not recognize him, do not realize, do not mention. He is coming, he is here, he is there. And finally, what is the most important for us, and the most recent, his Avatara, who came 500 years ago as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is called Channa Avatara, or Avatara covered or concealed, not clear, hidden. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita we can find this shloka, Kali Yugi Lila Avatara Na Kare Bhagavan Ataeva Triyuga Kare Kani Karikahi Tara Nama. In this age of Kali, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, does not appear as a Lila Avatara. Therefore, he is known as a Triyuga. Unlike other incarnations, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in this age of Kali as a devotee of Lord Krishna. Therefore, he is called a concealed incarnation, Channa Avatara. And we can find it in many other scriptures in Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam, Upanishads, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in Kali Yuga, not in every Kali Yuga, but once in a few Kali Yugas, as a devotee, and in his golden form. And what does it mean? When Krishna wants to understand the Radharani's emotions and Radharani's love, he comes as a devotee of Krishna. And what is the specific attribute or specific mood what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brings to us? He is the only Avatara who brings us the Supreme Prema, by which we can attain the Supreme Abode of Krishna. The Goloka Vrindavana. He brings this Madhurya Rasa to the earth. That's why we are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the sweetest rasas, which he explained to us, and which he wants us to give the others. What we preach, what we try to spread is Krishna's love, Krishna's Madhurya, Radharani's love for Krishna. And thus this avatara is the most recent and the most important out of all avatars. So, also should be told this Madhurya Rasa is the relationship between Radharani and Krishna. And of course we know that Krishna's rasas in his personal abode are here on this picture. We can see the Dasa Rasa. Let's say start from the beginning. Shanta Rasa, passive state, like flute or trees. Active state, Dasya Rasa, and the example could be given Hanuman. The Sakya Rasa, the friends, Arjuna. Vatsalya Rasa, Mother Yashoda, and Madhurya Rasa, the gopis. So, once again, those states are achievable, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought us this possibility. In Kali Yuga, he came personally, so we are very lucky. What we have to do, just pick up a holy name and call him Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, why Krishna? I would like to discuss a bit more about Krishna's and devotees' relationships. We have already discussed a little bit, but let us see once again. In these pictures you can see his different relationships, his different attitude to his different devotees. Let us see in Bhagavad Gita, he says, if you devote yourself to me, I will take care of all your life. He says, Yoga Kshema Vyavaham Yaham. To those who worship me, I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Also, remember the story of Bindu Saravar. Bindu Saravar is a lake, consists of tears fallen from Krishna's eyes when he was overwhelmed by compassion to the Kardama Muni. And you remember the story when the Varahadev was saving the earth, and Hiranyaksha was abusing him and treating him badly, but because the earth was on his tusks, he didn't pay attention to those abusive words. And it is said in the shloka 3.18.6 that he bore the pain. So those words of Hiranyaksha was very painful. But seeing that the earth on the ends of his tusks was frightened, he rose out of the water just as an elephant emerged with its female companion. So first of all, even though he bears the pains, he feels the pain. He first takes care of his devotees. Also, in the same third canto, he says, anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandala, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear, the glorification of my name, fame, and Krishna Katha. So I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. So Krishna says that He will personally protect us from anything, and doesn't matter where we belong to, even people who are lower than Chandalas, who chant the holy names. Krishna will personally take care. In this picture we see that the confirmation of shloka what Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita, that he personally picks up his devotees from the ocean of material existence. So, and now in this picture we know this story when Prabhupada was on the ship when he was coming from India to America. He had 2 heart attacks, and Krishna came there in his dream, and he put his hand on Prabhupada's head. So Krishna personally protects us. In this picture we can see that Krishna, even though he is Krishna, he is taking care of brahmanas and cows, right? And in this picture we can see as he washes the feet of his friend Brahmana. So he listens our music, he eats our food, and he gives us joy. And of course he protects us. Look at this story. We mentioned this story before, when the Bhishma, when Krishna in the beginning of before the battle, he promised that he will not take any weapon to protect the Pandavas. But there was some issue, and when Krishna got very angry on Bhishmadev, and he was about to ruin his promise. So take a look at this Krishna's love to his devotees. And many people will ask, that's okay, I don't need any bhakti, I can handle this life with jnana. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that it's okay, people try to come to me by any way, by karma yoga, jnana yoga, buddhi yoga. Anything is okay, whatever stage you are, you have to try to start from that state. But what he mentions here, he says that I personally pick up my devotee from the ocean of material existence. So there is one very important thing, mercy, kripa. We have Guru Kripa and Krishna's mercy. Without these 2 things, we are not able to get out of the material, from the material universe by our own efforts. We need Kripa. And Krishna gives this Kripa. Krishna empowers his gurus, his devotees to give this Kripa. That's why Bhakti Path is the most safe and the most fast. And finally, of course, let us discuss the ways to achieve Krishna. First of all, let us see what Krishna himself advises us in Bhagavad Gita. The most famous shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, where he says in 1855, Bhakti mama bijanati yavan yahchasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato nyatva vishate tadanantara. He says that by bhakti only one can know me tattvataha as I am, and he can enter my personal abode. Also in 1865 he says, first, manmana, second, bhava mad bhaktaha, third, mad yaji, fourth, mam namaskaru. Here he says, manmana, think of me, bhava mad bhaktaha, become my devotee, mad yaji, worship me, mam namaskaru, pay your obeisances to me. Mama Vaishesi Satyam Te Pratijane Priyosime, you are very dear to me, Pratijane, I promise this to you, Satyam, very truly. Mam Vaishesi, you will come to me. Please just pay attention to these his words. He promises. Do you think God will ruin his promise? If you will think of him, if you will worship him, if you will pay obeisances to him, if you will chant his holy names, if we will try to love him. I know that love is very supreme quality and very lofty word, but still, we have to start. We can try. We can pick up the Japamala and call him into our life. And finally, he also says, not finally, actually, here you can see I put in this box. In every chapter, Krishna gives us some advices how we can reach him. You can pick up Bhagavad Gita and look these shlokas. Here and there he will tell what qualities to develop, how to achieve him, what to do for his satisfaction, etc., etc. We can simply follow his advices, and as he's saying, he pratijane, he promises it to us. Here we can see Yad karoshi, Yad ashnasi, Yad juhoshi, dadasi Yad. Yad tapasi sikanteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So here again, step by step, Yad karoshi, whatever you do. Yad ashnasi, whatever you eat. Yad juhoshi, whatever sacrifice you offer. Juhoshi, sacrifice, sorry. Whatever sacrifice you do, whatever you offer. Food, for example, right? Dadasi yat, whatever you give away. Yat tapasyasi, whatever austerity you perform, or discipline, right? We discussed with you the topic of discipline, that whatever we do in our life, we go work, we go study, our family life, and etc., etc., we do some tapa daily. So, tat kurushva madarpanam. Just dedicate everything madarpanam to me. Offer it, everything to me. Offer whatever you do to me. And thus gradually you will achieve the pure state Vasudeva Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva, or Krishna consciousness. This is what Krishna personally advises us. Once again, pick up Bhagavad Gita and open those shlokas and read. He kindly asks us to come to him, to play together. Also here in Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we can find few shlokas in third canto, Kapila teaching, how one can achieve Krishna. Here you can find a lot of activities. By performing fruitive activities and sacrifices, by distributing charity, by performing austerities, by studying literatures, Vedic literature, conducting philosophical research, understanding the science of self-realization, developing strong sense of detachment, and etc., etc. In these three shlokas, it is explained the ways how we can, what we can do for him, what he actually likes. Some people will ask if there is the material world is built on karma actions and karma reactions, why I have to strive for good activities? Just simply because Krishna advises us Swadharmena Bhajet, because we have to worship by the activities prescribed in the Dharma. We do not have to perform any vikarma, any abominable activities, because they are not pleasing to Krishna. Why? Because he loves all his jivas, let it be small ant or grass or planet or us or any big moon or Venus, whoever, or demigod. He loves everyone, and thus he doesn't want us to commit any offenses, because the offenses and the abominable actions will decrease our consciousness. And about those qualities and what qualities to develop and what actions to perform, we discussed with you in the previous class number 8, qualities to achieve Krishna, where we discussed 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, demoniac qualities and devas qualities. So Krishna wants us to develop good qualities. So one of the way to achieve Krishna, open Bhagavad Gita and look for his advices. You can do it. Another way, of course, Yuga Dharma, the discipline for Kali Yuga, the very method for the self-realization in this age of Kali. We discussed with you the Yuga Dharmas in the class of discipline. Let us mention this briefly. There are different Yuga Dharmas for different yugas. For Satya Yuga it is meditation. For Treta Yuga is performing the sacrifices. For Dvapara Yuga, the temple worshipping, deity worshipping, and Kali Yuga, chanting the holy names of the Supreme Lord. And this is advisable by many scriptures. And you remember we discussed in Puranas, in Upanishads, and Samhitas, etc., etc. We can find that it is absolutely advisable for Kali Yuga, because our mind is very degraded and we do not have any power to perform some elaborate worshipping or to meditate for 1,000 years. We simply do not have that much time. Let us see once again that, for example, in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Krite yad dhyayato Vishnu, tretayam yajato makhaihi, dvapare paricharyayam kalau tad harikirtanat. It is described the 4 Yuga Dharmas. So what does it mean? Krita. Krita is another name for Satya Yuga. Krita dhyayato Vishnu, the meditation on Vishnu. Treta yagya yajato makhaihi. Dvapare paricharyayam, so worshipping the deities. And Kalau, Kali Yuga, in Kali Yuga, Hari Kirtanat, so Kirtanat to Hari, right? In other places we can see here in 11th canto, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagnaihi Sankirtana Prayaihi Yajanti hi Sumedhasa. So Yagnaihi Sankirtana Prayaihi. In the age of Kali, intelligent person perform congregational chanting, Sankirtana Yagya, to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the names of Krishna. And also, once again here in the 12th canto, Kaler dosha nidhera jan asti hieko mahan guna kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sangha parambrajet. My dear king, also Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. There is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Here we can see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam Kalau Nasti, Kalau Eva Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Gatihi Anyatha. There is no other way, no other way, no other way in Kali Yuga than chanting the Hare Nama. Here Vishnu Purana, Brahma, Vaivarta Purana, and Skanda Purana, you can see here Kalau Sankirtana Keshavam, Kalau Yugi Visheshana Vishnu Pritai Samacharet, and etc. etc. So I just put here, and this is very important, that Yuga Dharma is Hare Nama Sankirtana. We have to do it. Prabhupada told us to follow 4 principles and chant 16 rounds daily on beads, on Japamala. So please Try to chant the holy names on Japamala. Start with something small, with 1-2 rounds per day, and gradually increase. Japa will purify the consciousness, and with the time we will be elevated to pure consciousness, or that very Shuddha Sattva or Krishna consciousness. And of course, in the 7th chanter by Prahlad Maharaj, the 9 processes of Krishna Bhakti are mentioned. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. So, what we are doing with you now is Shravanam, hearing about the Lord. That is what we are doing with you in our classes. Kirtanam, we are also doing chanting, doing it with you in classes. We chant sometimes, but it is very advisable to chant every day at the same time, at the same place. For example, when you wake up, you took your shower and you sit down before the altar and chant for some time. This is Kirtanam, Smaranam, remembering him. Pada Sevanam, serving and meditating upon his lotus feet. So serving means whatever temple serving, whatever you can serve in your Yatra, Namahata group, Bhakti Vriksha group, Pada Sevanam, in your home, offering prasadam, giving prasadam, etc., etc. Archanam, worshipping him as a Archana, as a deity for Vandanam, praying to him. Dasyam, thinking oneself as his eternal servant. Sakyam, becoming his friend. And Atmanivedanam, surrendering everything to him. As he said, Yad Karoshi Yadas Nasi. Thus, by chanting and serving him in these described ways, described by Prahlad Maharaj, we can attain him. Once again, you can see here 9 limbs of bhakti. These are the limbs of pure bhakti. We have to make our life, the whole our life, we have to make as an offering to Krishna. But simply we start with Shravanam and Kirtanam. This process is the most powerful, and the beginners, devotees, they start with Shravanam, Kirtanam, and even elderly devotees, they still do Shravanam, Kirtanam. But what will be different? The mood will be different. If you remember, Krishna advised us, first you attain Brahma Bhuya stage, the pure stage, but you do not stop there. You continue worship, but this worshipping will have taste, rasa, asakti to Krishna, and finally one will be able to be elevated to the higher stage of bhava and prema. And I would like to finish this class with those 9 stages. Of course, it should be given separate few lectures on these topics, what we discussed with you now, but I just want to mention for you in order to help you to start from somewhere. So first, this is the 9 stages within the Bhakti Yoga. So it is Bhakti Ladder or Bhakti Ladder. First stage, step is Shraddha. Shraddha. This is what we are trying to get with you now. By dedicating your time to Swadhyaya and to Shravanam Kirtanam, we receive a glimpse of belief or of the certain emotion that there is a Krishna who loves us, who takes care of us, and I would like to dedicate him my life. This is a very beginning of the ladder of bhakti. When we receive this shraddha by the association with different devotees, by trying to serve, chant, just at least a little bit in the beginning, and we have this consciousness which we try to purify, and it is a long way to go, but we start from shraddha. Once again, even to start with shraddha, we have to do some svadhyaya, and we have to learn scriptures, we have to start associate with devotees, and try to serve at home, in temple, in your devotee group. So, when we receive a little bit of shraddha, when we believe that Krishna is that one to whom we want dedicate our life, to whom we want to belong to, we start even more to associate with elevated souls on this path, sadhu sangha, right? It is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, sadhu sangha sarva shastrakaya, lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhihaya. What does it mean? That even a small moment, lava matra, even a half of minute of the association with a pure devotee will give us so much power to come to Krishna that it could not be compared to any other activities. So association with devotee is one of the most important. Most probably the most important thing to do is to associate with devotees and to serve them. In chanting holy name, this Shravana and Kirtana, chanting, hearing, associating, it will be with us from the beginning till the end. It will help us on every stage. By sadhu sangha, we will be able to do not fall on any step, or even if we have fallen, we will be able to stand up. Next, bhajana kriya. When we have enough shraddha, belief, when we are involved in the process of shravana and kirtana, and we associate with devotee, we start real service. We take some responsibility, serving in temple, at home, once again in your Namahata group, or we are trying to take some responsibility for some group, for some activity, for some sadhu sangha, different services. And bhajana kriya is worshipping Krishna, and we choose, we listen lecture, read scriptures, we chant holy names, and on this stage it is very advisable to choose a guru, because without guru kripa we will not be able to go to the next step, anartha nivriti. Anartha nivriti is simply getting rid of bad qualities, and in Shikshashtaka those steps are described very well. And in the beginning we have to do the Chetodarpanamarjana. We have to purify the mirror of our chitta, and when we will be able to when we will purify the chitta, we will be able to see the anarthas itself, because sometimes people Actually, good people, they think, oh, I don't need really God. I'm all fine. My life is okay. I do not do anything very bad in my life. But actually, there are anarthas within our subtle body, in mind, within our mind, that we are not able even perceive in the beginning. For example, such anarthas as being greedy, or some proud, or even some envy. It could be hidden, or our mind can cover it so many times with so many layers that we will not be able even to recognize it. But by constant chanting and serving, we will be able to perceive those anarthas. And those anarthas, we will be able to get rid of them only by mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas. Why? Because only by humble attitude the pride will be gone. We will not be able to get rid of pride. Why we speak about pride? Because only ego, only proud people, the people who are covered by pride and who are attached to their aham and mama, they are not able to perceive the spiritual knowledge. Krishna will not open it up within their minds, within their souls. But by humble attitude, which is developed by serving Guru and Vaishnavas, anarthas will get out of the mind, and the mirror of our chitta will be purified, and the glimpse of spiritual world will be able to shine within us. But this process takes a lot of time. Please start now if you haven't yet started. The step number 5 is nishtha. Actually, nishtha is a kind of, let's say, we can make a comparison. Shraddha is a beginning state of belief, and nishtha is a very fixed and very, how you say, dridha, right? When you are very sure and you do not flicker, your bhajana is very stable, you do your chanting 16 and more rounds, you do your sadhana, it is stable and it is based on pure shraddha, not on laukika shraddha. Laukika shraddha is some belief which is not really stable. The belief what we received from the our ambient, our neighbors, our country, like, you know, you was born in India or you was born in Russia and you got some system of belief. This is laukika. This is material and not very stable. But while serving, in the process of serving, your shraddha will shift to fixed belief, to very realized belief. From the laukika shraddha, it will become shastriya shraddha. And when the shastriya shraddha will be absolutely fixed, when you will be sure that you are on the right way, that you are going to Krishna, and that chanting holy name is the only way, and your sadhana is the only way, and the association with devotees is the best way to achieve Krishna. When you are very fixed in it, and when you do not anymore identify yourself with your mind, with your body, this stage is called nishtha. People on this stage are usually got rid from the anarthas. They are not proud of themselves, because there is nothing to be proud about. They are fixed and they are not disturbed by the duality of this material world. So Nishtha is already a very high stage, and if we will achieve it in our life, it will be very cool. However, in Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he told that if we will even just once realize that material life will never give us happiness, and that Krishna is the only one, the supreme aim, and that chanting the holy names is the only one supreme path, and that it is not different from Krishna, that the holy names are not different from Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that even if on the time you realize it, really realize it, you can achieve the last step immediately, because all problems are within our minds, because we are still trying to find happiness within this material world. We are trying to satisfy our desires. We are looking for this flickering happiness. But the time we understand that there is no real happiness in this material life, and that Krishna is the only one, the supreme happiness, which is absolutely Satchitananda, absolutely blissful, without any shades of material emotions, we will immediately change our mind and strive for him. So the following steps are Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava and Prema. And basically, to do not to speak about them once again, it should be another few lectures, but let's do it briefly. Ruchi means to feel a taste for chanting. Before this stage, we do our sadhana bhakti. What does it mean? We are chanting our japa, 16 rounds or more. And we do it as a sadhana. We do not really feel any taste for the holy names. We do not realize who are they. We do not realize that they are not different from Krishna. And we are applying a lot of willpower to chant those names. But on the stage of Ruchi, when we became purified of our anarthas, of our mind and pride, we finally can realize a little bit of taste. And this is absolutely sweet Krishna names, and finally we will be able to have a little bit of that sweetness on that level. Next is Asakti. When the Ruchi itself will increase a lot, we will really become Asakti, attached to Krishna, to his personality. It is that pure stage when we finally can offer Krishna some pure activities. For example, whatever we are doing now is not so pure really, because everything is covered by our material desires or some impurities. But on that stage, we finally will be able to offer Krishna pure service. And what it is called anukulyena, we will stop to think about ourselves. We will stop to think, for example, when we cook prasadam now, when we cook food now, we cook for our family or ourselves. We do not cook for Krishna. That's okay, we offer and we eat prasadam. But still we are thinking about ourselves. But on that level, Asakti is a very pure level. But and we finally will be able to realize what he likes, what is his personality, what are his predilection and thoughts, and what he wants from us. And this pure love will shine from us to him. We will be able to perceive this non-material love within our souls. He will open up himself within our souls. And it is a very high stage, but we have to strive for it. And if you see the first 5 stages, they are very difficult. They are really sadhana. They are really we have to apply a lot of willpower. But the other stages, we will be do the same. We will be chanting our japa, we will be serving in temple, we will be serving our home deities, or whatever service you have. But we will do it with different consciousness. That consciousness will be without material impurities. Finally, we will get to the bhava and prema. Bhava is the ecstasy of love. And prema is a pure love. Of course, there are many stages of prema also, but basically this is what I wanted to tell you in this class. So that's why we are speaking that everything starts with Shravana, Kirtana. Shravana is hearing about Krishna, hearing Krishna Katha, attending lectures, listening lectures in the internet of your guru, attending classes, bhakti vrikshas, and Kirtana, chanting the holy names, chanting the Sankirtana as a congregational chanting, and Japa Kirtana, your personal chanting. This is the most important thing to do in our life. So I would like to give a conclusion. We discussed with you what is Krishna consciousness, that it is the pure Guna-atita state of consciousness. We discussed with you Krishna's personality, that we can see him everywhere, and that we are his very spiritual energy but covered with his material energy. That he is Supreme Ishvara Paramah Krishna, he is Sarva Karana Karanam, he is the cause of all causes, and he is Purnam every time. He is speaking in each page of Bhagavad Gita how to see him, how to perceive him, how to come to him. We discussed his 3 aspects as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. I have given the shlokas, the numbers of shlokas, how we can see the qualities of Krishna right here, and also in these shlokas how Krishna himself advised us to come to him. Another block we discussed Krishna's abode and leelas. A little bit we spoke about material and spiritual universes. We discussed his Leela avatars, why does he come, and we discussed with you the Channa avatara, which is concealed avatar as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the importance of him, of his coming to in this Kali Yuga, that he gives us Prema Bhakti. And it is our responsibility to take a holy name and call Krishna in our life. We discussed relationships between Krishna and devotees. You know the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam and Mahabharata, and yes, about Prabhupada. So Krishna loves his devotees. If we will take shelter in Krishna, we will be safe for the rest of our lives. And finally, we discussed with you once again the ways to achieve him. We spoke that Krishna advised in each page of Bhagavad Gita how to come to him in Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, Yuga Dharma, Harer Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalaunasti, Eva Gatiranyatha. And importance of Shravana Kirtana. Shravana Kirtana, association with devotees, and chanting the holy names. These are the methods what we have to pick up in the beginning, and those gradually we will develop our love and our consciousness. We will purify our consciousness, and we will be able to achieve Krishna. even in this life. So please chant Hare Krishna and be happy.